guys, I've been getting a ton of requests from you all over the years to please review Avene and all of their skincare products, which is a little overwhelming because they make thousands. So today I thought I would just review the cleansers from Avene that I recommend and that are good. And the way that I am navigating this, and I recommend you consider, is basically I go to their website, I select the category, in the case of this video, cleansers, and then I filter everything out by fragrance-free, because I only want to talk about fragrance-free products, because you all know I suggest strongly that you avoid fragrance in your skincare products as much as possible. Avene makes thousands of products. Many of them have fragrance, but not all of them. They have some fantastic fragrance-free options. The first cleanser that I'll talk about is their cleansing bar in the Xeracalm line, the Xerocon cleansing bar. I've talked about this in other videos, but cleansing bars are nice for both the face and also for the body, specifically in the armpits and groin. You don't really need to be lathering yourself from head to toe in soap. This can dry out your skin barrier, and a lot of bar soaps can be very harsh and irritating. However, they have many non-soap bar cleansers that are a good choice, and I like them because actually users end up with less product for cleansing, so they don't expose themselves to all of this excess soapy lather that dries out their skin barrier. And the Xerocon Bar is a really good choice. It's a non-soap bar cleanser that is ideally pH for the skin barrier. A lot of bar soaps are a much higher alkaline pH that disrupts the acid mantle and leads to dryness and irritation. And this one is not, is not in that pH range. It's very good, it's very gentle. If you have eczema or sensitive skin, this is a great choice. If you have oily, acne-prone skin, however, this also is a good choice. If you have sensitive skin in general, this would be a good choice. Free of added fragrance, minimal ingredients, and because it's a bar, you're gonna end up using less, you're gonna end up with a smaller volume, a smaller quantity of cleanser that you're applying to your skin, minimizing dryness and irritation. Now, I love double cleansing, and what I mean by double cleansing is using an oil-based cleansing oil or cleansing balm as a first step for either cleansing the face and or the body to break up the film of pollutants, sunscreen, cosmetics, dirt, and oil from throughout the day. And then as a second step, you come in with a gentle non-soap cleanser to remove that broken up filmy stuff and the oil. Technically, these products don't need a second step. You can just rinse them off, but I find that it's just a more efficient cleansing to come in with a second cleanser, but that isn't always necessary. It kind of depends, honestly, on how much stuff you have on your face from the beginning. Some people wear a lot of makeup. I wear a lot of sunscreen, and so I find that in order to get it off efficiently with minimal damage to the skin barrier and minimal dryness and irritation, the double cleanse method is best. And Avene has a variety of fantastic products for which you could build a double cleanse routine for yourself. But in terms of the cleansing balm, cleansing oil, cleansing lotion category, they have mostly cleansing lotions and a cleansing oil. The Avene Extremely Gentle Cleansing Lotion is a favorite of mine. As a matter of fact, it's one of my favorite cleansers from this company because it is great not only for sensitive, dry skin, it's a non-soap cleanser so it doesn't dry out the skin barrier, but if you have oily, acne-prone skin or seborrhea, whether it be seborrheic dermatitis or just excess oiliness, this is a fantastic cleanser for you to consider because it has an antifungal ingredient in it, peroxytolamine, that can actually help reduce the burden of Malassezia yeast on the surface of the skin. We all have this little yeast living on our skin, and that yeast can contribute to inflammation and irritation and a variety of skin problems. So this is really a nice cleanser. So it can be used as a first step, and you can pair it with another cleanser, or it actually does quite well by itself. If you're somebody who wears just sunscreen like me, you actually can remove the majority of it, if not all of it, with just this particular cleansing lotion. But if you wear a lot of makeup, heavy foundations, or it's a day like for me, for example, where I'm wearing more sports sunscreens, and I'm reapplying a lot more because I've been outside. I'm exposed to a lot more dirt, pollutants, allergens, whatnot. Then you definitely want to probably follow it up with a gentle cleanser. And speaking of which, one of my favorite gentle cleansers by Avene is their oil-free gel cleanser. Obviously marketed towards people with oily skin with the name oil-free, but if you have dry, sensitive skin, this is also a good choice for you. It's non-drying. It has zinc gluconate in it, which is a polyhydroxy acid. Polyhydroxy acids function as humectants, but they also gently exfoliate the skin. So this really allows for some efficient, precise cleansing and removal of exfoliating skin cells that, kind of will desquamate off as you cleanse. I love it. It's really wonderful. Easy around the eyes as well. Doesn't burn or doesn't sting. I mean, obviously don't get it directly in your eyes, but yeah, I love that one. I talked about the Xerocon Bar, but they also have a Xerocon AD Lipid Replenishing Cleansing Oil. I love this. It's a fantastic cleansing oil as a first step for your face and your body as well. So now that it's spring, heading into summer, you're wearing a lot more water-resistant sunscreen probably on your body, especially now that gyms are closed and you may be working out outdoors like me. That sunscreen and stuff needs to come off, and using an oil-based cleanser, just as I do on my face, is a really helpful way to remove that stuff efficiently without drying out your skin. If you have eczema, this is a fantastic product to consider for your body cleansing needs. It has evening primrose oil in it, which is rich in omega fatty acids. There's actually several small studies looking at topical application of evening primrose oil for people with eczema specifically, and showing that is beneficial. So it's a really wonderful kind of formulation, minimal ingredients, and again, free of added fragrance. This, as a cleansing oil product, does a really good job not only removing that stuff, but marrying with water because it has those polyethylene glycol compounds in it. They have an anti-redness line. Some of the products I think actually have fragrance in them, but of the anti-redness line, they obviously, in this case, as I'm talking about here, they have a cleansing lotion. And this is fine if you have sensitive acne-prone skin that is prone to a lot of redness. Honestly, I don't find that it's strikingly different from the extremely gentle cleansing lotion. It doesn't have proctone-olamine in it. I don't recommend doing what they say, and that is tissuing it off. They tell you to lather this to the area or whatever to break stuff up, and then to just tissue it off. I never recommend doing that with cleansing balms or cleansing lotions or cold creams. A lot of times they'll instruct you to do that, but it's not a good idea. And here's why. You don't adequately remove the stuff that you've just broken up with a tissue. You're gonna leave behind a film on the skin, and that can lead to irritation, flares of acne. It's just not a good approach whatsoever. As a matter of fact, there is a condition called demodicosis. I have a video on it. Demodex are these little mites that we all have on our skin, not to freak you out. But sometimes, like Malassezia yeast, our skin can kind of mount an inflammatory response against those mites. And there have been cases of women who exclusively are using cold cream and not washing it off, and they get flares of demodicosis. So it just is too much on the skin, and an immune response comes in, and then the Demodex mites get active, and it's a problem. So I don't recommend doing that. Wash it off. If you have really sensitive skin, just rinse it off with water, or if you don't have particularly sensitive dry skin, then follow it up at least with a gentle cleanser. That's fine, and you want to take it off. And this one's a good choice, but again, I prefer the extremely gentle cleansing lotion. I think it's a much better option with that antifungal in there. Now, Avene has two products that are intended to remove eye makeup specifically. There are two eye makeup removers. They have an intensive one and a gentle one, I think it's called. The reason I don't recommend the intensive one is they put red and yellow dyes in it, which are unnecessary. And red and yellow dyes can be very irritating if you have particularly sensitive skin, especially around the eyes. And they also can lead to flares of acne believe it or not. It's not always the case, but it can happen. I most frequently see it in people who wear a lot of blush that has red dyes in it. They get closed comedones. Now, whether or not it's due to the red dyes in those cases that I'm seeing, or the fact that maybe they just don't take their makeup off particularly well at the end of the day, it's hard for me to know that, but I do see that a lot as a clinician, and it has been reported. The other reason I don't recommend the intensive eye makeup remover is that it has some compounds in it that I think can be very irritating if they get in the eyes. And I have never actually used this particular eye makeup remover, but I've used eye makeup removers that are formulated similarly, and they can often burn and sting in the eyes. Choose the gentle one. It doesn't have the dyes in it. It has a much more minimal ingredient list and is a much better option. Do you need the eye makeup remover? Not necessarily. The double cleanse method works really well to remove eye makeup and can be used that way. However, where having a dedicated eye makeup remover is helpful is if you wear a lot of eye makeup, and maybe you only do it intermittently. Maybe it's not an everyday thing for you. And by a lot of eye makeup, I mean multiple different eyeshadows, makeup primers and base layers and coats, and maybe you wear a lot of mascara and false eyelashes. You have the eyelash glue on there. That should all come off. And maybe, it's not, I don't actually use those products, but perhaps just your cleanser is probably not enough for that area, or maybe it's enough, but you're just gonna have to work it a little bit too much, and that can be very irritating on the thin skin of the eyelid. So you want something that will more efficiently address that, and in that case, the gentle one is a good option. But for everyday use, if you're not a heavy eye makeup wearer, like if you're just like me and you only wear sunscreen and mascara, then you can just do the double cleanse method and it's fine. So those are the cleansers, including the cleansing bar. My top choice though is going to be the Avene Extremely Gentle Cleansing Lotion. That's the one I recommend to people the most. You already know I'm a huge fan of their Retrin AL, the retinaldehyde. That's a really good cosmeceutical vitamin A derivative if you are someone who either can't get prescription or over-the-counter adapalene, or you didn't tolerate those well, but you still want to incorporate a vitamin A derivative. I recommend that because it's retinaldehyde, which is a step ahead of retinol in terms of bioavailability and functionality. And it will take a little bit longer to start working than prescription retinoids or adapalene, but is still a really good choice. And so that's one that I've recommended in other videos before. But another thing about Avene is that all of their products have thermal spring water in them. Now, thermal spring water is rich in prebiotics and probiotics, as well as a variety of minerals and things that are thought to be soothing and anti-inflammatory and helpful for kind of restoring the natural skin microbiome, particularly in people with atopy, with atopic dermatitis, eczema. And specifically in France, they have these eczema centers where people go and they do what's called balneotherapy, which is basically types of baths essentially that use this thermal spring water. And so Avene has created a whole skincare line in which the water in all of their skincare products is purported to be this thermal spring water from France that they use in these treatment centers in areas of France. So, you have that in there, but I can't tell you how stable those interesting active compounds are in the products once they get dialed down into a tube or cream, as opposed to just being pumped into the bathtub. What the difference is. There are no studies to really say that pursuing skincare products with thermal spring water is better than just the other waters that are used in skincare products. But it's in there. La Roche-Posay also does that, and I believe Vichy as well. So it's popular. Whether or not it's necessary or helpful kind of seems doubtful, but yeah, overall I really like this brand. I wish they had exclusively fragrance-free products, especially since they're kind of spawning off of a eczema treatment center. It's really important for people with eczema, but they've got to market to kind of consumer appeal, so of course they put fragrance in many things. But they have a lot of good products. I don't typically recommend them first off the bat. Like, I don't think there are maybe 2 of my skincare product recommendation lists that I give to patients for certain skin conditions. They're probably like maybe 2 Avene products in total I recommend. You know, maybe 2 or 3. And the reason I don't is because they just are expensive. And I don't like to tell people to buy something that's expensive. I don't like telling patients that they should go buy something that's really expensive. I try and keep it to inexpensive products on those lists to be mindful of that, of people's budgets. But these are all great options that I've mentioned here if you're looking for a cleanser. And so, yeah. There we go again with the, so yeah. I hope this was helpful to you guys though. Comment below, and if you want to see more products from Avene, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.